Hello, hello, and welcome to Oracle Hour. My name is Sabrina Rising. I'm a spiritual teacher and a psychic medium, and it's my honor to channel spirit on your behalf as the Oracle. Welcome to Oracle Hour. It's my honor to have you here. I love being here with you every Wednesday and Sunday at 5 p.m. Pacific. Tonight, we're going to talk about past lives and present lessons and what's carrying over. I'm so excited to get into this topic tonight. But before I do, we're going to take care of a little housekeeping. You know me, I usually click over to Instagram to make sure we're going live there. So thank you for your patience. And for those, I can see that we already have members in the chat. Hello, everybody. Hi, Heidi. Hi, Tina. Hello, Shiloh. Good to see you. Hi, Celia. Welcome to Oracle Hour. It's good to have you here live with me. So for those of you that are requesting mediumship, if you already know that you have a loved one in spirit and you want a mediumship connection, you're really wanting to hear from your loved one, then I suggest you take advantage of our November special. We're offering a coupon for mediumship connections. November is sort of the month of remembrance, and that is the link to book a reading with me. And the coupon code at checkout is Ancestor. Okay, so this is the month of ancestral healing and remembrance. And, you know, in so many traditions and cultures, this is the thinning of the veil when we can really feel the presence of our ancestors. I talked about this last week as well. So take advantage. If you want a mediumship connection, I'm happy to connect you with your loved ones. Take advantage of the special. That's the code is Ancestor when you check out of the readings section. Okay, so that's there for you. For those of you that are new here, I encourage you to put your question in the chat. Even if you're shy, you're not sure what to ask, it doesn't matter. You can also just introduce yourself. We'd love to welcome you. This is a very loving, supportive, non-judgmental community. Everybody's welcome here. I answer questions on a first come, first serve basis, unless, of course, you are a paying member. If you are a channel member, then you get priority access in the chat. So something to consider while you are paying attention to the broadcast. If you don't have a chance to get your question answered, please stay for the whole broadcast, because the questions that come through, the answers that come through are for all of us. We gather here twice a week as a collective, as a community with an intention. We never get here by accident, whether we're conscious of this intention or not. We always get exactly what we need, myself included. And for some of us, that's a heart-opening insight or an opportunity to transform something or some guidance or an affirmation of what your intuition is already telling you. I always answer questions in two ways. I give you my psychic hit on what I believe is what's best for you, what's really going on, what's coming through, you know, in this lifetime through the lens of embodying unconditional love as part of your soul contract. We're going to talk about that when I teach about past lives here in a moment. And I also give you the spiritual guidance that will empower you to take personal responsibility for the quality of your presence, your being, your wellness. What are you thinking? How are you acting? What words are you using? What actions are you taking? How are you aligning yourself with the very thing that you deeply, deeply desire in your life? And for so many of us, this is the whole healing journey, is learning how to embody unconditional love so that we can come into personal fulfillment and find deep inner peace. And from that place of deep inner peace, a lot of the longings that we have, a lot of the things that we deeply desire that we're trying to go after or make happen, they start to become less important, because when we find deep fulfillment, we find the answer to all of our pain and suffering, right? So, and inner peace is ultimately the goal. It's not, it may not be the goal that we set out for, but we quickly realize in the process of our healing journey that what's truly valuable is our ability to be at peace with ourselves, how we feel about ourselves in each moment. Of course, this is my wish for you and my wish for me and for all beings everywhere. Okay. So let's talk about past lives. And I love this topic because it really does give us a broader context of why we're in this incarnation and what are some of the lessons that we're here to learn. Okay, so you're not here randomly. This isn't your first lifetime. This isn't, if you're someone who doesn't have a spiritual practice, if you're new here, then obviously I suggest you keep an open mind as I talk about the spirit realm, and I talk about how we are all part of source consciousness, and we're each having a human incarnation, and we've had many, many lifetimes, in fact, and each lifetime sort of builds upon the last one. And so the purpose of reincarnation and the purpose of coming into this this lifetime is to learn how to resolve our soul contracts, neutralize our karma, and essentially learn to embody unconditional love, which is all I ever talk about, essentially, so that we can awaken to our essential nature. And ultimately, through this process, we free ourselves, we liberate ourselves from pain and suffering, and we reach nirvana, which is a state of enlightenment, a state of full liberation. And we come back as many lifetimes as we need to until we fully embody this state. Now, if you're stuck in 3D reality, 3D consciousness, you don't have access to this awareness, right? So you might think that your life is about, raising kids or being in a relationship or accumulating wealth and having a wonderful job or being successful or, creating some measure of success that is determined by the outside world, by external influences, pleasing others, for example. So many of us go through this human conditioning phase because it's through this conditioning phase that we understand that we start to become more intimately acquainted with our soul lessons, right? So as a soul, we elect the circumstances that we are born into. We choose our parents, we choose our circumstances, we choose how we come in. We also choose when we go out. We choose some of the afflictions, the situations that we're going to experience, the hardships, because these are all conditions that will create an experience of searching, an experience of wanting to go deeper within ourselves. There's got to be more to life than this, right? There's got to be more to life than what I'm living. The pain is usually what precipitates the transformation. If you're willing, some of us succumb to our pain, unfortunately, and we give up on life, and we resign from this life. But for those of us that are using our free will to not give up and to learn how to be in the embodiment of unconditional love, all of our circumstances are serving our evolutionary process so that we could heal in order to get there. Okay. So one way to determine whether or not, or this is from a past life, for example, little clues that you can look for is hits of intuition. You can all of a sudden feel something or know something, and it feels random. It feels like there's no frame of reference for this. It's not something you learned with your mind, but it's something that you feel like you've been here before, or you've seen this before, you felt this before. That's an example of a past life experience, and it can happen in a moment. Things like déjà vu, even things that seem like you're randomly afraid of, like a fear that makes no sense whatsoever. There has never been a trauma in your life, or there's never been a situation that created this fear in your life, but for whatever reason, you're afraid of this. I had an experience myself of walking in. This is one of many, many, many that I've had in this lifetime, where I walked into a Dharma hall and I knew instantly that I had been there before. Not in this life, but in previous lifetimes. I was like, oh, I've done this before. I was my first Vipassana I had ever done as a 10-day silent retreat. And I walked into this Dharma hall, and I just felt like I was home. I felt like I had been here many, many, many times. I felt a sense of familiarity, a sense of welcome and warmth. And I knew that I had been, I was in a place where this is I've done this before, right? And so what happens is, and you might find as well that you'll come into this incarnation with a certain gift or a certain talent. You see little children that are virtuosos, or they play the piano, or they have this extraordinary ability to sing, or whatever the gift is. These are also examples of work we've done in previous incarnations, and what we came in either to continue on, to finish exploring, to bring to completion, or to heal and to neutralize, and to finally learn the lesson that we might have missed out on in the previous life. Okay. So for example, if you had a really bad relationship with money in your previous lifetime, in this lifetime, and you didn't have a chance to heal that or complete it or transcend the experience so you could embody the lesson, in this lifetime, you would have picked up right where you left off, and perhaps be born into a family with money, or be born into a situation where money was the focus or the concern, where you would have to learn to find balance in your relationship with money. It's never about having and not having. It's always about being in balance with everything. And that's what karma is. It's about creating that balance, that place of neutrality. So there isn't a strong charge with you in that situation. This is, again, how we liberate ourselves. Okay. So if, for example, you have an unfinished unfinished business, as we say, with a specific individual in a past life, and you meet up in this lifetime, and you'll know, because you'll know that that type of attraction feels different. It hits different. There's a very strong pull. There's a really strong, I want to say, attraction, I guess, for lack of a better word, a really strong pull towards that person. And it can be inexplicable, and there can be feelings of familiarity and feelings of, like, obsessiveness and so on. This can point to a past life experience, and it can point to a soul contract that you have with this person. I talk about this in my other video on soul contracts. And that you're here to complete. You're here to revisit this unfinished business and somehow, learn to neutralize the karma between the two of you. Okay, so take a moment as you're listening, and perhaps when you're coming back and watching this video again from the beginning, just to hear some of these points. Look and see some of the events, situations, circumstances in your life that feel like repeated patterns, that feel like deep-rooted fears, that really don't come from any one particular place in this lifetime that you have a frame of reference for. Pay attention to your intuitive hits, or like some of those like felt experiences where you just know, I've been here before. Pay attention to the things you feel drawn to, what you want to lean towards. Perhaps there's a affinity for Native American culture, or there is an affinity for, Italian culture, or whatever the thing is. Perhaps there's a natural inclination towards something. For me, it was the esoteric arts. I know that I've done some type of work in spiritual community as a facilitator in a previous incarnation, because I automatically was drawn to this very, very early on in this lifetime. It was like I already knew, right? I picked up my first pack of tarot cards when I was 13 years old. My best friend gave them to me as a gift in high school. And it was just like, I'd always had them. And so this is the kind of thing I'm talking about, right? So everybody has some experience of this. So I invite you to just take a moment to really reflect on the thing that feels most familiar to you, or that you might even be resisting, the thing that keeps looping around. These are all signs and indications of a past life experience where you're either here to continue developing this ability to continue serving in this way, or perhaps you're here to learn how to forgive and how to have compassion and how to neutralize this entanglement, this pain, and do right by this person, perhaps take responsibility for something, and fulfill whatever soul agreement you have with this person in your life. Or perhaps there's just a fear that you need to overcome and transcend. And of course, the path to all of this is always through self-compassion, self-forgiveness, forgiveness of others. We'll talk about more about that in a minute, and deep unconditional love. In fact, if you just dedicate your life to embodying radical unconditional love for yourself in every area of your life, you will have used this lifetime for what it's meant for. This is the purpose of this human incarnation. And the benefits of embodying unconditional love, I mean, they're endless, but it sort of recontextualizes your whole experience. The success comes easy, the money comes easy, the relationships come easy, the relationship with spirit comes easy. Everything starts to feel effortless and flowful, because at that level of consciousness, at that level of unconditional love, we merge with 5D. We have access to these realms. We are in this flowful state, as we talk about, in spiritual community and in healing circles. We talk about this flow state, being in flow, and being in that effortless experience of God, of spirit, moving through your body, where it starts to feel really impersonal. Okay. And impersonal means I've healed my attachments. I've healed my wounds. I've made peace with this human life, this 3D life, and I'm aware of myself. I've awakened to myself as an expression of source consciousness. Okay. This is what we're all here to accomplish. So as much as it can feel really important to get the job, or be in the relationship, or make the money, or do the 3D thing that you need to do, it's not about the circumstances. I cannot emphasize that enough. I think I say this every week. It's really about using the circumstances to, as a container, as a mirror, to show us, where am I not loving myself more fully, more freely? Where am I not letting go? Where am I still attached? Where am I still in pain and creating suffering because I'm resisting the lesson that my life experience is trying to lead me through, right? Your soul elected this lifetime and all of the experiences you're having so that you can learn to feel into them and embrace them and develop equanimity and dissolve your resistance and merge into this state of inner peace. Okay. And this is a beautiful experience. It's what I'm living as far as learning to neutralize my karma. I look at my own reactions and resistances. I look at my own judgments. Judgment is a beautiful place to start from. Okay. So if you're a person who has a lot of judgments of yourself, of course, what the relationship with self always mirrors the relationship with others. So if you have a lot of judgments of yourself, then you start to heal those by embodying unconditional love, by learning to accept yourself with empathy and deep compassion. As you start to collapse your own internal judgments, your gaze, your view, your perception of the world around you starts to soften as well. When the world starts to appear more benevolent, more kind, you start to see human beings as expressions of source, and you can see the pain that they're in. Rather than feeling attacked or threatened by their behavior or offended by their behavior, we start to see that they're just in pain and they're just trying to get their needs met, and they don't have access to a higher way of operating. Okay. So this is a really powerful place to live from. It makes being a human so much more enjoyable, so much more liberating. And this is where we can use our past life information to really inform our current experience and say, I can see that this is something that I've carried over. I can see that this is something that I'm still working through. This is what my soul is here to experience, so I can fulfill my soul contract and neutralize my karma and ultimately find inner peace, which is what we're talking about tonight. Okay. And so again, I said I would talk a little bit more about forgiveness. Forgiveness is very powerful. There's no, and I talk about this in my inner work containers. If you've ever done any one-to-one with me coaching or inner child healing work with me, there's no such thing as a justified resentment. Okay. So we can feel resentful. It's normal. It's human. I experience it. We feel resentful because someone behaves in a way that we don't like, or does something against what they said they were going to do, or doesn't hold up their end of the bargain, or whatever the situation is. Holding on to that resentment is blocking you from embodying unconditional love. It's actually keeping you hostage and holding you prisoner to very low, toxic vibrational states that will block you from experiencing peace. And if I'm contracted in some area of my life, I'm limited in terms of what I can call in, what I can experience, the joy, the peace, the abundance, and so on. Okay, so it's very important. I apologize. It's full moon tonight, which I forgot to talk about. And so my dogs are howling. Thank you for your patience. I'll mention that in a second. So again, we want to look at forgiveness as being the gateway. It's in higher spiritual community, we can say that there's nothing to forgive. And that would be true, but it's not true if you're holding on to resentments. Okay. So the act of forgiveness is a really important portal that opens up higher states of consciousness for us. It allows us to experience unconditional love and to liberate ourselves from the burden of anger and bitterness and judgment. And again, all of those heavy anchoring emotions that keep us stuck in 3D, that keep us stuck in the density of being unable to really feel into what spirit has for us. You know, that the experience of feeling like we're an expression of source consciousness, as I'm talking about tonight. Okay. So again, forgiveness as a practice, as a ritual, as a way of liberating ourselves, as a way of detaching from what has happened, you know, as a way of uninvesting, unhooking ourselves from people that have hurt us in the past, keeping in mind that whatever wherever attention goes, energy flows. So if you're thinking about someone and you're constantly ruminating about them, and, you know, you're investing in some sort of relationship with them with your thinking mind, even if you don't have access to them in 3D, you're creating energetic cords. And so you're attaching yourself to this person. And so it's the way we unhook ourselves is to bring our attention back to our own internal landscape, our own inner experience, and deciding how we want to live. And practicing forgiveness after we've, you know, received empathy for our experience, and we've healed our wounds, and we're feeling more empowered, and we've sort of rebuilt our self-worth. We don't want to do any bypassing in terms of our healing work. We can't jump to forgiveness if we're not ready to, but doing the work to get us ready to forgive is an important piece in terms of neutralizing karma and using this lifetime for what it's meant for, so that you're not repeating the same lessons in the next incarnation over and over and over again. Okay, so this is so important. Forgiveness is a portal that takes us into a higher state of consciousness. And once we're in that higher state of consciousness, then we can look back and say, yeah, there was nothing to forgive. Yeah, because we cannot be attacked or threatened or offended if we are living in a higher state of consciousness. If we're experiencing that pure peace, that pure God energy moving through us. Okay. And so that's a really important part. And it's a wonderful technique. Meditation, self-regulation, meeting your triggers with empathy and deep compassion, learning to breathe so you can do the somatic release. So you're releasing stuck energy from your body. Of course, I talk about this every week, and using that forgiveness work to really look at some of those relationships in this current incarnation so that you can embody unconditional love. Okay. And that is helping you make the most of your karmic lessons, what you've carried over, and what you're going to bring into the next life, which is hopefully peace and abundance and joy and service, right? Because it's wonderful to be awakened and to be alive and open and fully self-expressed. And it's even more beautiful to serve from this place of awareness so that we can help each other heal and help each other grow. Of course, this is my wish for you, for me, and for all of us. Okay. Thank you, everybody, for hanging in there with me. It's good to see you all. I hope that was helpful. I would love to know in the comments if you have some experience with past lives, if you have done any past life regression work. Of course, this is an offering that I teach as well. That's available on my readings link. So if you ever wanted to do a past life regression journeys to see what the lessons were, what you brought into this current incarnation, I'd be happy to guide you. But I'm curious to see if anyone has any experience with this or any questions about past lives, or I know we have questions for spirit. So hi, Rhonda, good to see you. Dietrich says, the focus on circumstances always feels so comfortable, but it's certainly limiting. This is a beautiful comment. I love this. Thank you, Dietrich, for bringing this to our attention. Yeah, it's just, we get caught up in what we want. We get caught up in wanting things to be a certain way. And this is where we let our will, which is otherwise known as our ego, sort of take over the experience. And what you want is not necessarily what serves everybody's highest and best good. Keeping in mind that what serves your highest and best good is what serves everybody's highest and best good, because there's only one highest and best good. There's only one self, right? So again, getting caught up on the circumstances, it forces you to really focus on making sure you get what you want. And it's important to see that even if you do get what you want, this is a temporary experience. It's not sustainable to live life in this way. And you notice when you talk to people who have what they want, or they've really gotten what they want over the course of their lives, and they really push to get what they want, they might have the things that they want, but they don't necessarily have inner peace. They don't have fulfillment. They don't have that sense of feeling satiated, feeling content with themselves. Okay. So again, always look at the circumstances as, what is this teaching me? Always look at the situation as not what's happening to me, but how is this happening for me? How is this happening in service to my highest and best good, to teach me how to embody more unconditional love? Okay, Dietrich. So I love that you asked this question, and it's good to get intuitive guidance. I mean, that's why we're here. It's good to get channeled messages on what is going to serve my highest and best good in this moment. Is this in alignment with what my soul needs to hear in this lifetime? Is this the next right step for me? And these are good questions for spirit, because this will guide you to, fulfilling your karma, as we're talking about in the broadcast tonight. Okay. Beautiful. Shiloh says, I went to Cambodia for missions years ago. I could walk the entire home, 3 levels, hands over eyes. I knew I was there before. Yeah, perfect. Beautiful. This is exactly what I'm talking about, right? I actually got chills when I read that. So that's spirit. Every time I get chills, I know that that's spirit coming through me. So that this is something you've re-experienced. And in those moments, it's like, that's when we have that awareness, like, oh, I'm ancient, right? Like I've had so many lifetimes. I've been here so many times. Notice in those moments when you're revisiting places and you have those experiences, the depth of that experience, that's a good point to say, okay, what am I here to learn? Or what am I here to pick up from this to carry this forward into my current lifetime? Okay. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. Hi, Rhonda. Rhonda says, hello, Sabrina Oracle community. I was practicing the Ho'oponopono prayer prior to you coming on. Oh, I love that. Well, that could be a past life experience for you, right? So if that's something you feel, a natural inclination for, and what that does to your heart, again, we're talking about embodying unconditional love. So this is perfect timing, right? So again, we're always in sync, Rhonda, and that's spirit working through us. That's why I always tell people stay for the whole broadcast, because we're not here by accident. We always here get exactly what we need. All right. So do we have any other comments? Dietrich says, not sure if this is related to past life. but I feel I dream about my alternate universe. Okay. I think there's two parts to this. Everything's connected to your past life, because as I mentioned, we are living the circumstances, the unresolved lessons, the new lessons, the karmic implications of whatever we did in our previous lifetime. That's what's happening in this incarnation. Okay. So it's really good to get curious about what those lessons are and how to neutralize them, how to make the most of this lifetime. So yes, when you dream about your alternate universe, that tells me that you're having some kind of spiritual awakening. So there's a crossing of the veil, if you will. I don't like that expression because there's no veil, but it's about merging into higher states of consciousness, for you having access to universal intelligence and seeing, there's a quantum leap opportunity here that you can experience yourself in an alternate universe. What are you doing in that alternate universe? What does life feel like? Are you making the same decisions? Are you having a better life? Are you having a different life? So something to examine there. So I think it's both. So yes, it's connected to your past life because it can mean, Dietrich, and for everybody here, everybody that's drawn to me, everybody that's drawn to this work, you've had some interaction with spirituality or the esoteric arts or alternative healing arts and so on. Okay. You're all drawn to this work and to these messages for a reason. So we've all had some, even if it's just an introduction to these themes. Okay. So for you, Dietrich, I would say that there is, this was part of your spiritual practice in a past life, perhaps to lucid dream or to for some reason, I see you levitating. So I don't know if that actually happens to you in your dreams or if it's something you're dreaming about. So again, that can be a spiritual practice for you. And it's also telling me that you are transcending levels of consciousness and you're moving into higher states of awareness, which is an indication of your practice. If it's something that you're doing without trying, like if it's something that you didn't really set an intention for, it's just happening spontaneously to you, then it's 100% past life. Okay. So again, the things that we don't really work on or develop, or things that are not new to us that we spend a lot of time with and that we're just naturally gifted at or naturally good at, this is an indication of a past life gift that you've brought into this lifetime. Okay. So yeah, that's how I want to say that. If there's more to this question, please put it in the chat. Okay. Thank you. Good. I'm going to have a sip of water. Next question, please, Diane. Hi, Heidi. Welcome. Hi, Sabrina. So happy to be here with you all tonight. And we're so happy to have you, Heidi. I'm so glad you're here tonight. Tonight, I'm open to any messages you have for me. Okay. Okay. Heidi. Well, it's interesting that you're here and you're open to messages, because I know that we've talked about your son before. We've channeled your son before in the spirit realm, and you have past life together. So we're talking about past lives, and it feels like in this lifetime, you're really here to learn. Yeah, you're here to learn self-compassion and self-forgiveness. Of course, I talk about this all the time, but for you in particular, like how to not carry the burden of your whole family system. And I know that this is something you're working on, but I feel like there are some things presenting themselves currently where there's more letting go to do, more boundaries to set, and perhaps a way to just really fully like move on. I almost feel like there might even, and I don't know if we've talked about this before, Heidi, so you can just validate in the chat, but I feel like there's like, even you're like revisiting everything. You're at a point now where you're kind of reevaluating all things in life and where you need to go from here. And I feel like, of course, your son is always guiding you as one of your guides, just sort of encouraging you to move on with your life and to find joy and to find inner peace. So keeping in mind that these are very important themes for you. Okay. So the other thing I want to say too is to, like, for some reason, I want to tell you, like, Spirit's saying, like, don't be afraid to like put your need. This is 100% accurate. Okay, good. Thank you, Heidi. Don't be afraid to invest in yourself. Like, don't be afraid to do the thing that you want to do, to move to like look at relocating. I feel like you've got like, there's like a reallocation of assets or something like that. Like there's like, you're moving some things around so you can rebuild something from the ground up that really allows you to thrive and allows you to leave the past behind. Okay. This is I actually got chills when I said that. Like there is a point of, I mean, we're always in grief when we lose our loved ones, especially our children, we're always in grief around that. That's something that we're always living with, but that grief can get transmuted into an experience of eternal love, eternal connection, and eternal guidance and support from a place that has no agenda, right? It has your son as a guide only wants peace for you, only wants what's best for you. And so this can be transmuted in this way. I often feel this way, Heidi says. Okay, good. So again, this is that thread of unconditional love and support that's coming in from your guide, from your son and your other guides as well. It's interesting because I actually feel, his grandmother, so would be your mother-in-law, perhaps. But she's a grandma energy as well. That's sort of like helping orchestrate this and helping you sort of move on with your life and moving into a place of putting yourself first and choosing what you need, choosing for you first and foremost, without feeling like worried about letting people down or we're concerned about what other people are going to think. Okay. So that this is a pattern for you in this lifetime. So we know that this is something you brought in from a previous incarnation. And you want what you need to be asking for is the courage and just the knowingness that you're going to be supported and provided for every step of the way. In fact, that's a really good affirmation for you, is I will always be provided for. When you lean into your soul nudges and lean into your intuition, you're always going to be taken care of, even if it feels like you're taking a big risk. There's some risk on the horizon for you, and it's okay. It's important for you to invest in this and to and open yourself up to this, because you want to change this pattern that you've been in. You've been in this pattern for quite some time, this way of operating. So it's going to take making some risky choices to invest in yourself, to putting yourself first and allowing new experiences into your life so that you can let go of this old identity of the person who takes care of everybody and puts everybody else first and bring in something new for yourself. Okay, Heidi? That's how I want to answer that question for you, is what Spirit has for you tonight. Okay. And do the work to take a look at what some of your intuition is telling you. What's your intuition telling you? What are some of your fears? Like what's underneath that? Heidi says, I really appreciate that. It helps ease my mind hearing this. Okay, good. Beautiful. This is what I'm here for. So, and for everybody that's getting channeled messages, you really know in your body, like, yes, like feel it. I get chills. Like I always get covered in goosebumps when I hear the truth. The truth moves me. Your body is not going to lie to you. It's going to confirm that what you're hearing is for you, and it's meant for this current phase of your evolution. Okay. And that's so important that you verify the message that you're getting. Like you are 100% safe and 100% provided for every step of the way. And you have permission. I actually see this like big, pathway opening up for you. This big light at the end of the tunnel actually feels like a light at the end of a long tunnel in a real facility, either of it looks like a church or something like that, where you're just kind of opening the doors at the end and there's light coming in. Okay. So there's something about that church too, as well, that comes through as being very specific. So things to look for, to know that are signs that I'm on the right path. I'm in alignment with my soul's journey and I'm doing what this life is meant for. I'm fulfilling on what this life is meant for. Okay. Heidi, I send you all my love. Beautiful. Who's next? Hi, Taylor. Taylor, welcome to Oracle Community. Taylor says, hi, Sabrina. Wondering if my guides have any messages for me, more specifically with me feeling off. Not sure if it's from a medicine I've been taking or what. Okay. All right, let me channel this. Okay, so I'm not a medical doctor, so I can't, tell you to go on or off your medication. But I can tell you that whatever you're taking, yes, 100% is, it's creating this like sluggish feeling, sluggish, lethargic, like lacking motivation feeling in your body overall. But I also feel like it's linked to more of a depressed energy, and depression, not like in the clinical sense, but like suppressed emotion. Okay. So I feel like that's what's happening in your physical body. And there's feelings that you're not expressing, that you're not exploring. There's deeper feelings in your body around. What am I picking up here? Yeah, it just feels like yeah, there's some deep doubt around your current circumstances. Like there's something you're not sure of, that you're not really, I feel like you're either avoiding having the conversation you're supposed to have, or you're like trying to avoid the conflict, or Taylor says, yes, it can cause that. I'm feeling depressed as well, and it's hard to address. Okay, good. So that's what I'm picking up in your energy field. There's conversations that you're avoiding, conversations you need to be having. There's things you need to be addressing that are actually not okay with you. And you've been sort of in compliance with this. You know, sometimes it sounds very abstract what I'm saying, but really listen. Okay. Sometimes I'm just trying to respect your privacy because it's a YouTube live. So I want you to really listen. There are some things that you're in compliance with that have caused, you know, I want to say these are acts of self-betrayal. You said yes when you meant no, or you're allowing things when they really don't feel good because you think you have no choice, or you think you have nowhere else to be, or no other resources. Okay. So I actually feel like if you took the time to really heal, like really sit in your body and give yourself permission to feel all those uncomfortable emotions. I know it can be scary and it can be hard. It's very hard to do without a guide, without someone to meet you in unconditional love and compassion. So I'm so happy that you're here in community with us. You know, tonight is the full moon in Taurus. Here, I'm going to talk about it now. This is the perfect time. This full moon is all about releasing and letting go of everything that no longer serves us. Okay, so that's what the full moon is. It's not about bringing things in. It's about letting things go. And the full moon in Taurus is about our physical safety, our physical well-being, handling how we feel in a way that has integrity, embodying wellness, you know, being careful not to overindulge in our senses and so on. That's also Taurus energy. But for you specifically, it's about creating that safety in your nervous system so that you can feel all of your feelings and bring up all of the suppressed anger and suppressed rage that's in your body so that you can stop feeling depressed and start feeling more expanded, more alive. And we feel alive in our bodies. I was just talking to my husband about this the other night. Like we feel alive and awake when we talk about the thing that we're withholding, right? When we're really in our truth. Okay. So Taylor, I want to empower you to start speaking your truth more and start setting proper boundaries. Taylor says, my anxiety has been very bad, and I think it has been the cause of some physical systems. I definitely need to calm my nervous system. Okay, good. So we're talking about anxiety. We're talking about depression. We're talking about feeling off. We're talking about taking medication. So you see, we put all these together. What do we have? We have a depressed nervous system, depressed, suppressed feeling body. Okay. That's why your nervous system is out of whack, because it's holding on to all the stuck energy and you're not releasing it. Okay. And this is it would cause anyone to feel out of alignment. And that the answer is never to take something to feel less. It's to, what can I stop taking so I can feel more? What can I stop doing so I can feel more? How can I get still enough so I can feel all of it? You know, obviously in increments, and with gentleness and compassion and support. You want to make sure that you're safe in your feeling processes so that you can really come into your body and really feel what's there. Taylor says, that is so reassuring. I definitely need to work on boundaries. Yes, 100%. There is something in your physical environment that is not in alignment with how you want to live. And it's feeding into this narrative that there's something wrong with you. And whether that's another person, I don't know if you live with another female, but it feels like it's being reinforced. This narrative is being reinforced, and it's keeping you stuck in this limited experience of self. Okay. So my guidance to you, Spirit wants you to go outside, almost like as a metaphor, but also literally step outside of this environment, refresh your perspective, and start really feeling your feelings. There's nothing wrong with you. You just got to feel the uncomfortable emotions and be willing to sit in that and ask for support. Ask for someone to hold space for you. Ask for guidance, take advantage of the coupon and come and sit in a reading with me, so that we can really process this on a soul level, and you can liberate your nervous system and feel more regulated with a deeper experience of inner peace. Okay, this is so important, because the answer is never outside. It's always inside. It's always within. It's always, what am I suppressing? What's really underneath this? We don't have anxiety. Anxiety is a systemic response to unwanted emotions. We don't want to go deeper into our solar plexus and feel the full range of our anger, our rage, our discomfort, our fear, our doubt. And so we develop anxiety because we've been suppressing these feelings for so long. And of course, taking things to numb you doesn't do anything. It just keeps everything stuck there, and as soon as you go off medication, anxiety is right back where it was. Taylor says, my job is really stressful. I'm a teacher. I definitely need to go outside more and ask for more support. Good. I will definitely be booking with you. Thank you so much for your help. Oh, you're welcome. I'm looking forward to seeing you, Taylor. I'm glad this was helpful. Being a teacher, I can't even imagine, being in it. There's the link for readings, by the way, Taylor. When you're taking in, that's the other thing I want to say to you, Taylor, is you're very empathic and you're very sensitive. And so when you're sitting in the classroom and you're taking in all of this energy, you're really taking it on and you're not clearing it. Okay. You're not actually expressing it. And you feel like you're on your own to lift this boulder up a hill, kind of push this boulder up a hill. This is the visual I keep getting. And it's too much, right? And you're kind of underwater. It feels like you're always catching up. There's always too much to do or too much to catch up on, too much to prepare. You're not getting enough time for you to calibrate with nature. That's why you're getting the message to go outside more and to really get your needs met. Okay, so you need space, you need support, and you need better boundaries. This will 100% help your depression. It will help your nervous system, and it'll help you find balance. Okay, which is also what we're talking about tonight. Right, beautiful, Taylor. I'll leave you with that. Okay, who else? Who's next? Teacher says, hi, Sabrina. What's next for me? What do my spirit guides want for me? Thank you. Okay. Okay. I'm about to put my dog outside. Okay. Okay, I always say this every time I get this question, and I'm not trying to be difficult. What I'm trying to educate people that those of you that ask questions about what do my guides want, what the spirit want for me, and so on. There is no independent will that lives outside of you. Okay, so whatever your guides are reflecting or supporting or bringing in or bringing to your attention is something that you actually want for yourself, whether you're conscious of it or not. So the conscious mind may not know what it wants, but the unconscious mind, the subconscious part of you, the soul part of you even knows that it needs a certain guidance, or it needs a certain experience, or it needs to learn something in order to evolve, which is what we're talking about tonight on our spiritual journey. So your spirit guides don't want anything for you. What they are here to support you in is whatever you want for yourself. Okay. So I just want to make that clear for you, for context, and for everybody listening, whether you're watching live or you're watching the replay. Okay. Let me tune into you specifically. So, I want you to, you're being guided to develop your intuition. I want to communicate that that's very clear. Start to remember. Your guides want you to remember that you have this inclination to lean into the spirit realm, or to develop your intuition, developing your inner knowing. Okay. So, there's something in your spiritual practice. Actually, I feel like, I don't know if I'm seeing runes or crystals or stones in a circle around you. So I don't know if this is kind of part of your practice, or if this is on your altar or something like that. But it's something that I think will help anchor you. So bringing in the use of earthly elements in your spiritual practice will be very beneficial for you. It'll help you ground. And it'll help you. And the grounding is very important for you in your spiritual practice, because it'll help you see things from a higher perspective without getting lost in what to do. Okay. So Dietrich, you're someone who like overthinks quite a bit. I feel like you're someone who Dietrich says, yes, I have a few crystals that have been gifted to me. Okay, good. So those crystals, I'm seeing them in a kind of in a circle around you, like kind of like a north, south, east, west, and just grounding in each of these directions and each of the elements. There's a lot of earthly and I don't know if this is the full moon in Taurus influence, but there's a lot. Yes. Okay, good. So there's a lot of this energy coming through for you in the message tonight of really taking in the elements and using them to ground, using them to anchor yourself in whatever circumstances you find yourself in right now, which are temporary, by the way. There is a shift coming for you. Your circumstances are yes, I'm a compulsive overthinker. Okay. I feel that. I really feel that. That's why I want you in your body, with feet in the sand, crystals in hand, and just grounding and really breathing and into your diaphragm. The diaphragmatic breathing is so important. I can't emphasize this enough. I mean, all breath work is good and helps release stuck energy in the body, but the diaphragmatic breathing is gentle. It's something you can do in a chair, lying down, anywhere, in the car, just breathing into your diaphragm, breathe in, belly out, exhale, let the belly drop naturally, and really letting it calm your nervous system. It'll help you ground and find that point of stillness in your body so that you're not in your mind. It also helps you create space between your thoughts and your awareness. Okay. You are not your thoughts. Your thoughts are just, that's what the mind does. It's just a sort of random thinking. There's no rhyme or reason to it. If you pay attention to your thoughts, they're all over the place. Okay. So that's not where we go for guidance. Where we go for guidance is our hearts, our bodies. We learn to embody unconditional love as a pathway to hearing our intuition, remembering our intuitive guidance. Okay, so this is the message for you. Of course, this is a message for everybody. I mean, everything that comes through is for all of us. That's how I say it, what I say at the beginning. So I'm really glad that we had this conversation, Dietrich, because, this is so good that we're bringing this to, everyone watching, whether you're watching live or the replay. It's so important, like grounding and choosing how you want to experience your life. I want you to be more intentional about how you want to feel and also how you want to live. Okay, so there is a need for discipline and structure in your daily practice that's going to help you feel better, feel more alive, and gain more clarity. There's a lack of discipline here. Okay. And again, the overthinking is always trying to solve problems with the mind, maybe starting things and not finishing them or not following through is part of that. Okay. So grounding and using those crystals and as we were talking about, those earthly elements in your daily practice to help empower you and to help give you the clarity that you need to move forward. Okay. That's probably more than what you bargained for, but that's my message for you tonight. And I appreciate having this conversation with you. Okay. Thank you for being here, Dietrich. Beautiful. Yay. We have a new member. Woohoo. Lakeside Laura. Oh, welcome to Oracle Community. It's wonderful to have you here, Lakeside Laura. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay. Who is next? Lakeside, do you have a question? Here we go. Lakeside says, Laura, I'm going to call you Laura instead of Lakeside. What are the intentions of my new friend? This is a male friend. I'm usually pretty intuitive, but I'm kind of confused on this one. Thank you. Okay. So this is obviously a romantic encounter. Let me see here. So we're talking about past lives tonight. It's not an accident that you're here, Laura. So this is a past life connection. This is someone that you have unfinished business with. Okay. So I don't know if you have fully explored the nature of this relationship yet and what it means to you, but I think that there is, I want to guide you to be open to it. And while, let's get to the punchline. The lesson in this relationship for you is reciprocity, which is kind of a new concept. Okay. So making sure that you're giving and receiving. So reciprocity is the word that I keep hearing when I tune into what is the purpose of this relationship? You're talking about what his intentions are. I feel like the intention is to get to know you, he hasn't quite fully figured it out yet. Like he's not super clear on what the intention is. But I think there's a draw and I think he feels it as much as you do. And this is going to open up an exploration between the two of you. Laura, I would go into this very open and curious with no attachments to any outcome. Okay, so this is very important because you're here in this relationship. Remember my words, you're here to learn reciprocity in this relationship, giving and receiving, making sure that you're getting your needs met as much as you're trying to meet his needs, like this kind of dance that you're doing, because it's important for you to advocate for yourself. It's important for you to learn how to voice your needs and to ask for support in getting those needs met. Okay, this is an important lesson for you in this relationship. I feel like yeah, this is a slow burn, and it's okay. It's meant to be. It's meant to be. It's meant to be. Sorry, my dog just muted my microphone. I apologize. I've got howling dogs in the background on the full moon. So again, open, gentle curiosity. I know you want to know in advance because you want to know where this is headed. And there's again, try not to control this. Okay. I know and this is a coping mechanism. Okay. So those of us that tend to be controlling or tend to want to, navigate circumstances or know what's coming is because we don't feel safe in our bodies, right? So I want you to stay open to the experience of love, the experience of connection, the experience of familiarity. The deeper you go into this connection, you're going to see that there's a lot of resonance here. Okay. He hasn't fully figured out exactly what he wants or needs yet, but he knows that there's a draw. And so it feels like you're going to figure it out together. Okay. And that's sort of a long answer to your question. And of course, feel free to validate if you're validating here. She said, you resonate with me right off the bat. Okay, good. Beautiful. I don't know if that was as a result of what I just said, but okay, good. Taylor, let me know, or Laura, let me know if there's more to what I shared. But welcome to our community. Please, for those of you that are new members, make sure that you go to this link. It's in the banner section. Laura says, thank you. It's confusing. Okay. So again, don't try to figure this out with your mind. This is the same advice I gave Dietrich, I believe. I want you to drop into your body and really open your heart and let yourself explore. But don't jump ahead. Don't assume outcomes. Don't try to force outcomes. Just let yourself be guided and led by your intuition. Allow this person to show their feathers. Allow this person to show up for you. This is new for you, is to allow somebody to show up for you in this way. And the reciprocity is the key here. It's 100% key. And it's an important value for you because you haven't had that in the past where you overdo and you overgive and you take care of everybody. Laura says reciprocity is very important to me. Okay, beautiful. So we're on the same page. So this is the lesson here, making sure that you're receiving as much as you're giving. Okay. I feel like there is chemistry, like there's a strong pull. This is a past life connection. I feel like you're going to figure it out as you go. He's got some things to work out in his life. Okay, Laura. So this is my psychic head now. He's got a couple of things to work out. He's it might feel like he's hot and cold. It might feel, but that's not because of you or the connection. It's really because he's got some things going on in his life. And Laura says, I'm impatient and used to knowing off the bat. And yes, I've been the giver my whole life. Yeah, I feel that. So stop doing that. This is your permission slip to put that roll down, that identity of giving. You don't need to overcompensate and overgive in order to feel worthy of love or to secure your place in a relationship. This is for you, Laura, and it's for everybody listening. Okay. I have things to work out. Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah, you do. We all do. But this is the joy of being human and the joy of learning. Don't look at it from a place of like the circumstances are everything. The circumstances are opportunities. They bring us into opportunities to practice self-awareness and self-love and self-compassion and empathy and tuning into our intuition and developing a practice, learning how to feel safe and anchored in our own bodies. That's what the circumstances are doing. Okay, so the circumstances are actually helping you become more at peace with yourself and the role that you play in relationships. Okay, so please this is so important. Reciprocity is what you're meant to learn here. Okay. So don't give more than you receive. And if you feel like your need for reciprocity is not being met, then speak about it. Use your voice to advocate for your needs so that you can be met in that place of love and that you deserve, that you're worthy of. Right. And of course, we're always met when we learn to love ourselves fully and radically and unconditionally, the entire universe will meet us there. Okay, whether the partner is romantic or not. Okay, so that makes no difference. Okay, so this is an important piece for you to learn, Laura. Welcome to our community. I was going to say earlier, just before we wrap up here tonight, I want to mention there is a link for you to fill out so you can get on our email list. For those of you that are, I don't even know where it is now. I don't have the link. Okay, so sorry. There are posts that are for members only. So if you scroll through my content, you'll see content that's for members only. Look for the post that's for the members only, because that will tell you what link to click on, where you can fill out your information and you can start to be on our email list and receive all of the perks and benefits that you're entitled to as a member. Okay. I'm just learning this too. We just launched our community a few weeks ago. So thank you for your patience and I appreciate you being here. Laura says, very interesting. Thank you. I just wondered if I was imagining what I was picking up on. No, you're not imagining it. This is a past life connection, 100%. And there's a mutual chemistry, mutual affinity. Like I said, he might be hot and cold, but that's only because he has some things to work out in his life. I want you to just be patient and just allow things to unfold, and then you come back and let me know how that turns out for you. I'd be curious to hear about it. Okay. And of course, looking forward to supporting you on your journey. Okay. Thank you for being here, Laura. All right. Okay. Maybe we have time for one more quick question. Yeah. Before we wrap up. You're in charge, Diane. Diane is my moderator. She's in charge. Celia says, sorry, Sabrina, I'm not referring to aesthetic when I mean lifestyle. I'm more referring to just the career, love, adventure aspects. Is there something before that? Celia, oh, hello, Sabrina. What changes do you see for me in my lifestyle? Hi, everybody. This is Willow. In 2026. Thank you so much. Okay. And then the second part. Okay, so changes for you. It's interesting that you brought up aesthetics, because I actually feel like that's how somehow related to your work or your job or your career, like making things beautiful. I don't know if it has to do with textures or textiles or clothing or fashion or something like that, but there's something along those lines that I think you're actually really gifted at and should pursue. It's something either you're dabbling in or yeah, there's two threads. There's like the like expressing yourself aesthetically, and there's also, like, I want to say, this is a very specific message, but it feels like entrepreneurship, like either starting your own thing or doing something on your own outside of what you've been doing. So the thing that you're curious about beginning or starting, maybe it's a side thing or something like that, you're getting sort of the green light, the permission slip from spirit to move forward in this direction and create something that's a bit more meaningful. It's very much career and self-expression that I feel like is happening as far as like the lifestyle shift for you. Yeah, and it's really about you like accepting your talents and your abilities. So I think you often question that, like, what are my gifts? What am I truly good at? And you second guess yourself, and you second guess your capacity to succeed, or your capacity to stand out. Even, I don't know, Celia, if you do quite a bit of comparing yourself to other people, it feels like, in your workplace, like you feel like you're mired in self-doubt, and that's shifting for you. But you have to help this process along by like just deciding that you're going to try something, even if it doesn't work out perfectly in the beginning. Like, I want you to, and the energy here is like, you need to move into the direction that you've been thinking about, that you've been desiring, that you've been like feeling into, because you're going to be supported in this process. Okay. There is a big shift for you. It feels like a change. It actually feels like maybe you're starting something new, or you're yeah, you're starting something new, or you're pursuing a passion uh, um, that is aesthetically inclined. Again, I feel like colors and textures and maybe even fashion, something like that, something artistic. Okay. And so these two together, you starting something, you being the starter of this, the initiator of this idea, and bringing your talents online so that you're owning you're claiming your talents. This is very important for you as you express yourself, and this is going to add dimension to your life, and it could evolve into something very meaningful and quite lucrative, actually. Okay, so next year is a year for more money as well, more abundance. There's a lot of favorable conditions that will open up a lot of opportunities for you, but you have to be willing to take them. You got to walk through that doorway. So you have to stop keeping yourself small and second guessing yourself, and not trusting your soul nudges, because you have them. You're just not following through, and you're second guessing everything. Okay. So I invite everybody to develop a spiritual practice. If you don't have a practice where you sit down every day and tune into your internal landscape and feel into your body, work through your uncomfortable emotions so that you can reach that point of stillness. And in that point of stillness, you can start to set intentions and ask questions to your higher self and start to feel into the guidance that comes in for you. Do this every single day, and you'll be amazed at the information and the guidance that comes through. Very interesting. Never really considered myself creative. Okay, good. Yeah. I mean, that's what I see and that's what I feel for you. But again, it's business related. Like there's an entrepreneurial thread here. So there's something here for you to explore, like either starting something on the side or doing your own thing that has to do with aesthetics, has to do with, yeah, something textiles or fashion or something like that. Something to do with fashion. I'm not entirely sure exactly what it is. I'll let you fill in the blanks. But I want you to stop and really think about the thing that you really enjoy, what you really enjoy doing, and what you feel a natural inclination for, perhaps what people come to you for as well, for advice or for help with. And feel into that. How can I express this in the world in a way that really makes sense to me? Like the place you're in now is very limited. Again, it keeps you stuck in self-doubt. It keeps you questioning yourself and comparing yourself to other people. This is not sustainable. Okay. So your soul wants something more than this. And it feels like next year is the opportunity for you to develop that. Okay. So follow your soul nudges. And again, for everybody, develop your practice so that you can feel into your body and feel into your own connection with source consciousness, your own intuition, and follow those soul nudges, with learning to overcome fear and reaction and triggers, really using this full moon energy tonight. Hopefully you go off and do your full moon ritual. I know I will be later, where you're just releasing everything that no longer serves you and grounding into the earth elements, so that you can bring into tangible evidence that which you deeply desire. Okay. And spirit is always partnering with you to help you accomplish that. Okay. So that's my wish for you and for everyone. Thank you, everybody, for being here with me tonight. It's so good to have you. For those of you that want to join my channel, there is an opportunity to do that. Here's the link to join. Just click on the link. If you join the first tier, that gives you priority access in the chat, which is wonderful. It also gives you access to ad-free meditation, guided meditations on my channel. If you join our Inner Oracle community membership, which is the place to be, this is the best thing on the internet. There is an entire spiritual library of members-only content available to you. Everything from inner child work to manifesting to developing your psychic gifts. All of those courses are there for you on my channel. They're there for you to take advantage of. There's also a private Facebook group, which I interact with you in. So you have access to me there. We can be connected in the Facebook group, and you get free access to our Oracle gathering every month. The one in November is on the 22nd, I believe. I do there's the link for the Oracle gathering if you just want to come once. If you join as an Inner Oracle community member, you have access to it every month. I do it once a month, where it's a combination mediumship and psychic gallery event, where I do mediumship in a group environment, and we connect with your loved ones, and I offer those connections so that you can heal and get and receive the messages that you deeply desire. Okay. Thank you, everybody, for joining me live. I'm going to go and take care of my dogs. I'm sending you all my love. Happy full moon. Blessings to all of you. And I will see you all on Sunday. All my love.